The final module, mantra and bhakti, probably brings us closer to the heart of the Himalayan tradition of tantric yoga more than any of the rest of it does. For our tradition, the pinnacle of practice is mantra sadhana. That is internal, silent repetition of and eventual absorption into sacred mantra. Mantra is different than a mantra or a motto or an affirmation or anything of that nature. Mantra is very specific. There are mantras in multiple languages. Most of the mantras that we work with come through the Vedas. They are Sanskrit. They are often Sanskrit phonemes, syllables, seed sounds, which contain galaxies worth of experience and power and compassion and wisdom. So we'll look at what this mantra stuff is, how to engage with it. We'll explore the concept as well as the experience of mantric initiation. I am not someone with the capacity to initiate into our lineage, but my teacher is. And if that's something that you desire, not from a place of like ego, recognition, accomplishment, but you feel called at some point over the course of your study and practice in particular to experience that next level of guidance from a teacher that communicates from within, then I would be happy to help you become as prepared as possible for initiation and then make the proper introductions. And then timing wise, that is a mystery in and of itself. Panditji operates on a different timeline than our ego mind loves sometimes. So we just trust that the mantra will come to you when it's meant to. Anyhow, the other aspect of mantra sadhana is utilizing mantra externally as well. So something that we're chanting and reciting, either as an invocation. We chant the daily prayers, for example, as an invocation and a way of uniting with the tradition and the other practitioners within the tradition. There are also specific mantras that we can recite aloud repeatedly, something like Sri Sukta, for example, that facilitates transformation on both a personal and a collective level. And then there's also chanting or singing names of the divine that sometimes are mantra and sometimes are not, as a form of specific avenue of yoga called Bhakti. So this is kind of the other component of this final module. Bhakti is not limited to chanting or singing the names of the divine. Bhakti is the yoga of love. And it ultimately is an avenue for experiencing that oneness that I talked about in the description of module 1. Experiencing that oneness with the divine by falling like irrevocably in love with the divine. So it is experiencing yoga, union with divine consciousness as an expression of this undying, unlimited, undiluted love. And as we fall more and more deeply in love with the divine, we can't help but fall more and more in love with the divine's creation, because we begin to experience everything in creation, everything in reality as an expression of the divine. So we start to fall in love with everyone and everything. And you can practice, engage with bhakti through chanting and singing. Singing helps us to tap in often to a part of the self that is a little bit more liberated from the constraints of the thinking mind, and to tap into more of like the emotional aspect of our being. And that is often where we start to feel love. We feel like we are falling in love with. It's more emotive, and that ability and willingness to be emotive can create more of a felt sense of that connection with divinity. But you can also practice bhakti yoga through writing, through poetry, through acts of service, anything that helps to cultivate a genuine love for the divine, and everything that the divine expresses is bhakti. And ultimately, bhakti becomes unavoidable and irreplaceable in our spiritual path. We eventually will get to the point where we have had enough of a taste of oneness with the divine, through little glimpses, either with our eyes open or closed. More and more of the divine is revealed to us through our practice, through our studies, through our interactions with fellow practitioners or just fellow beings. For me, it's my dog and my many cats, where this love component, this bhakti component, just begins to develop naturally and effortlessly. We save it till the end because it isn't something that can be forced. It isn't something that will comply with a set timeline. It happens when it happens. And it's beautiful when it does. So there you have it. Those are the modules of Śakti Sādhanā. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I hope that you will attend an informational gathering so you can bring those questions directly to me. If there isn't an info session scheduled in the relatively near future, then just reach out to me directly and we can chat one-on-one. I can't wait to meet you. So thanks for listening to all of these ramblings. I hope that I have an opportunity to share this with you in a much deeper and much more personal way. All right. See you soon.